Hello Stampers! I've got a cute little card for you today using one of my favorite sets. This is one of the gnomes from the Kindest Gnome stamp set. I love these little gnomes and I think I can use them all year long and just put them in with seasonal backgrounds. And this little guy, I just decided to put in a cherry cobbler suit, and I think he looks great for winter. So here's the Kindest Gnome stamp set, and there are 4 gnomes in here, and also their little house, and some really cute sentiments too. So that is that. And for this card, I'm also going to be using the Snowflake out of Joyful Flurry stamp set. And this is a beautiful snowflake stamp set, and we're using the sentiment today out of this, the Let It Snow, and it's a season of magic and wonder. So I'm using the coordinating die set also, and this is Frosted Flurries. This is a big set. It has lots of snowflakes in it, and I'm use this die here to cut out my snowflake. So that's what I use for an embellishment for the front of the card. And so we're going to get going on this card right here. And I think you're going to like how quickly it comes together. I'm starting with a basic white card panel that's 2 3/4 by 4.5. And we're just going to take a Post-it note that's 3 by 5. And this is the sticky edge up here, and I'm just going to rip just a little bit of this off just so we have a bit of a jagged edge so it's not so straight across and looks a little more natural like snow would look. So I just ripped a little bit. I didn't tear all the sticky off. There's still plenty of sticky up here. And then we're going to mask like the bottom inch. Now I'm not measuring this, I'm just guesstimating. Let's see if I can put that on just a little straighter. There we go. And for our sky is very easy to do. We're going to use blending brushes, and we're going to start with Balmy Blue. And I have a blue blending brush here, and I'm just going to blend this all over this unmasked area at the top of the cardstock here. I like to use a circular motion. I don't worry about it filling all in. I just want to get some good color on it. There we go. So that was Balmy Blue. And then I'm going to bring in a Soft Succulent for the top of the sky. I thought this was an interesting color combination, and it turned out really cute. So I'm using this Soft Succulent at the top of the cardstock. Kind of gives you a winter sky like what I would have here in Ohio. We get a more gray blue skies going on, so that's what I did here. So there's the top of the sky. And that was Soft Succulent. Okay, so that is our background, and there's our snow. All we had to do is take the mask off. All right, so next I'm going to take an embossing folder, and I'm using the Wintery 3D embossing folder, and it comes in a 2-pack. They're winter themed, of course, and one of them is pine boughs and the other one is snowflakes, and in with the snowflakes are like swooshes, like wind, and so it comes out really pretty in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through the Stampin' Cut and Die machine to emboss it, and when I emboss it, I'm putting it color side up towards the Stampin' Up logo, and we're going to have this great textured background. I hope you can see it in the video. Okay, and by the magic of video, I have it all embossed. I ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so it's all done, and it just looks super cute to have those snowflakes in the background. So there we have that done, and now we're going to work on our little guy here, and I have a scrap piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp my gnome in Memento Tuxedo Black. That way when I use my Stampin' Blend markers, this Memento ink won't smear or disappear on me. So I'm just going to hold it here for just a second to get a good impression. There's my little guy. He's got quite the beard, so I know it's a guy, right? So I'm going to start coloring him, and I'm going to start with his nose. And I have a light pale papaya Stampin' Blend marker, so I'm going to color him all in with my Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to color his nose in, and then his inside of his mouth. So that was light pale papaya. Then I'm going to start with light cherry cobbler here. And I'm going to color his entire outfit in with this, except for his mittens and his shoes. So just his clothes, really. The brush end of this marker makes it really easy because it has a nice point on it. And then we got to get his little pants here under his beard. There we go. And he just looks so much like Santa Claus. Okay, this is a dark cherry cobbler, and I just want to add some shadows in here. So I'm going to add it along, I'm using a little circular motion. I'm kind of adding it along the right side and the left side. And that gives you that nice highlight down the center of his hat. And then the tip here I've got I went ahead and did dark. Okay, and then I'm going to add some dark around his beard. So down his sleeve and around the bottom of his beard, just where it would be shadowed. So that was the dark cherry cobbler. And next I'm going to get out the dark basic black. And I'm going to color in his mittens. And I'm leaving a little white trim in between the mitten and his shirt. Or jacket, I guess it is a jacket probably. And then I'm just going to color in the shoes. And it's not a big deal if you go outside the lines on this because we're going to give it a little trim and cut him out. I'm just going to fussy cut him out. He's really easy to cut out. So I will be back in just a moment when I have them all cut out here. Okay, I have him all cut out, and I used my paper snips to cut our little guy out. And that was super simple. And we're just going to adhere him to the cardstock. And I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue here. And I'm going to stick him over here on the right side of the card. And I'm making sure I have his body down in the snow some so I can give him some nice footprints. And I'm going to use the light smoky slate marker, and I'm going to use a brush end for this, and I'm going to turn my cardstock sideways, and I'm just going to kind of lay my tip of my brush down on the panel, and that makes like little snow prints for our little guy, and we're just going to lead him off the page there. So there's his little footprints. And that was so simple, right? So now we're just going to start putting it together. We're going to stamp and die cut a snowflake here. So I have the snowflake from the Joyful Flurry stamp set, and I'm going to use the soft succulent to stamp it with. I want to kind of tie it into the background some. So I'm using the soft succulent. And I'm going to stamp it on here. and then die cut it out. And I'm die cutting it out with that die that I showed you out of the Frosted Flurries die set. I'll bring it out here so you can see which one it is. It's this one here. And you just, when I die cut, I just kind of move it around till I get it to where it's going to cut it out. And that's what I did. And then I run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I have it right here by the magic of video. Already die cut. Now I'm going to bring this balmy blue back in. Again, I want to tie back into my sky some. So we used balmy blue in that soft succulent in our sky. So I'm repeating it here on our snowflake. So I want to add some balmy blue to this. And I'm just going to do balmy blue around the edges. Doesn't that make a cute snowflake? So there is our snowflake all made up. And then we just need a sentiment piece. So I'm just going to take a scrap of white. And I have my sentiment for the front of the card. It says, "Let It Snow." And I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black for this. Just going to ink it up. And I'm going to stamp it down here at the bottom of this panel. And then I'm just going to cut it out with a pair of scissors. And I don't get too worried whether it's straight or not. And it's all good. You could use your paper cutter if you'd like. And I just try to get it as small as I can. There we go. And there is our little sentiment piece. So now we have everything for the front of our card. I'm going to bring in my cardstock here. And I'll pull that out. This is a basic white cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5 for our card base. I folded it in half to create my quarter card. And on the front of it, I put a 4 by 5.25 cherry cobbler panel. And I also did that same size panel in the inside. So I cut two that are 4 by 5.25, one for the inside and one for the outside. And I have the inside of the card here. Let's just go ahead and do that so we have all of our pieces before we start gluing them on. Now I didn't want to put this in my card before I stamped, just in case I made an error on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment in here. And it says, "It's a season of magic and wonder." I'm stamping it in Memento Tuxedo Black. Now, you have to remember that the inside of your card is landscaped. So I'm just going to stamp it there. Okay, so there's my sentiment on the inside. Now I just want to go ahead and I'm going to stamp some of these big snowflakes to tie it into the front of the card. And this is an easy thing to do. And it just jazzes your card up just a bit. So I'm just going to stamp it around a bit. There we go. And I used that soft succulent, same as what I stamped it for the front of the card. And then I'm going to take that balmy blue to tie it all in. I'm just going to add some of that balmy blue. I'm using the tip of the brush, just adding some of that balmy blue on the edges of these snowflakes. Isn't that cute? It comes out really pretty. There we go. And there's the inside of our card all done. So this is one of those great cards that you can put together fairly quickly. And it's pretty flat, so to just take one stamp, which I'm always concerned about. Because if you're sending out, 100 Christmas cards, you want to make sure that you only have one stamp on them, right? Otherwise, it's going to cost you a fortune. And here's the inside all done. And then we just need to put our outside together. And I'm going to back our little scene here with a basic white panel. And this panel is 2 7/8 by 4 5/8. All the dimensions for the cards are down below this video. Just click show more and you'll see them all listed there under the description. And you'll also find all the products used and the links to them. That'll take you to my online store. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that together. I think I'll just add some love in there with my glue. And put this together. There we go. And then I'm going to add it to my card front. When I put it on my card front, I want to kind of center it here so that there's equal distance, more or less, on each side and then the bottom. So there he is. Then I'm just going to adhere my snowflake on. You could pop all this up if you wanted to, but then you probably might get into a more postage situation. It's entirely up to you. And so I'm going to put my snowflake on here. And I'm going to turn it over and just rub it on the back because we have some texture going on here in different layers. So I want to make sure that's adhered well. And then I have my little sentiment piece here. Glue this on. And I'm going to bring the sentiment piece down and I'm just going to have it go onto the snowflake a bit and over to the white layer on this. And make sure you have it kind of straight. And there's the front, but I wanted just a bit of bling. So I'm just going to take a rhinestone, one of the basic rhinestones, and I'm just going to add just one to the center of that snowflake there. That just gives it just a pop. And there we have it. There's our finished little card. Isn't that gnome just adorable? And it's all done. And there's our project for today. I hope you enjoyed this card project and that you give it a go. It's fun, it's quick, and thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.